Get ready, Staten Island. It's time to celebrate 5 years of Ferry Hawks baseball.
Tuesday, May 19th at 10:30 a.m., it's morning baseball. Wednesday, May 20th at 6:30 p.m., have a pawsome time at Bark in the Park. Thursday, May 21st at 6:30, it's Pride Night with $5 Bud or Bud Light draft beer. Individual game tickets start at just $12.
Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
And our friend Edward Jones. And the reason Edward Jones comes on this show is because I don't understand many, many things. And Edward has figured out how to explain things to me. Edward Jones brings deep experience in international business development, military affairs, intelligence, oil markets across the Middle East and beyond. He's also a ham radio operator in Manhattan. Figure that. Imagine being a ham with an antenna in Manhattan. And his call sign is W2LCQ. Edward Jones, welcome to the other side of midnight. Are you scared?
A little bit, Walter. Thank you. That was a very nice introduction. Very sweet. Thank you.
Edward, explain to me the situation today in Iran and what you think our government's next plan is.
Okay, well, here's where we stand right now, Walter. You know, the shooting war is in hiatus, if you will, in ceasefire, and they got Israel to play along with this too. You know, they were engaged with the Hezbollah in Lebanon, so things have calmed down. You know, quite a bit, de-escalated from really peak intensity. But the ceasefire is still very, very shaky. You know, Trump was talking about starting it up again. Could be bluster, who knows what, but it's his style. He put that off. But the big problem that the elephant in the room is the uranium. And, that is, everyone's looking at that right now. And Iran has enough enriched uranium buried under the rubble at Isfahan, which we blew up last year, to make, in the IAEA, I always have trouble saying that, the International Atomic Energy Agency, 6 bombs. That's their estimate. Iran claimed they had enough to make 11 bombs. They were saying that in negotiating, but it's about 6. And both sides are very nervous about who will get there first. You know, that's what's happening now. As far as what we're going to do next, that's a good question. We spent the last month building a massive air bridge between the U.S. and the bases in the Middle East to replenish and restock everything there. And we may have actually brought in some extra people there to get ready for the next round of shooting. But hopefully that ceasefire will stay in place. What the next move is could very well have to do with the uranium. But the good news in all of this is that, as shaky as things are, the back channel to Pakistan, where the negotiators meet, Pakistan is the intermediary in all of this, is still in place. And we're not meeting directly with the Iranians, but messages are passing back and forth. Trump said he ripped up their last response, but they say that maybe not him, but the administration responded in writing to them a few days later. So it's still in place.
Edward Jones. Marco Rubio explained it this way. He summed up the government of Iran this way. These are a bunch of lunatics, he said. And when we learned that most of the government was murdered early on, that left all of us wondering, well, who's in charge? Who's actually running? None of the religious leaders are running it. There seemed to be one guy in a really good suit. I think he was called president or prime minister. We had never heard of him before. We never saw him before. He was starting to say official things. That was 3.5 weeks ago. Haven't seen him again. Very hard to tell. What makes me sad is it is clear that probably for just reasons of profound fear, that the people of Iran have not seized control. The people of Iran have not pushed out their government, and it's probably because when they showed up to protest, they were slaughtered.
Yeah, let me just try to unpack that. That's an awful lot. Every government, democratic government, any government of a nation state has what's called a monopoly on violence, and they have it. They have it in spades. They have no compunction about killing their own people. There was estimates, reliable estimates of around 30,000 that were massacred during this last uprising. So the people are not going to take to the streets because they don't have the wherewithal. They don't have the arms. They don't have anyone in the government right now that they can look to support them. So don't look for anything to happen there. That being said, to answer your question, there are three guys who are the public face, if you will. There's a Peseshian, or I believe, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I might be murdering some of these names, but
yeah, I would too.
The president is Peseshian, and the Speaker of the House, or the Speaker of their Parliament, I should say, is the second one, and then Araghchi, who is the Foreign Minister, is the third. Those are the faces of Iran to the outside world. What is running the country, and I've said this from the very, very beginning, is the Nazi SS-like organization called the IRGC, which was the shadow in the shadow. It was running the country under Khamenei. Khamenei was able to keep them in control. It's a shadow army, if you will, a shadow military organization, because the Iranian army itself, the Artesh, which it's called, is an army. It's a weak army of conscripts, and sort of like in Germany there were two parallel armies: the Wehrmacht, the standard army, it was sort of like the Artesh, and then the SS, and this is the IRGC. These guys drink the Kool-Aid. They run the country. They are the regime, the IRGC. And an element of the IRGC, without going into the weeds here, is the Quds Force. They're a vicious force that runs everything outside of Iran. They run the 5 proxy groups. You've heard these names: Hamas in Gaza, the Iraqi militias, the Houthis, the Hezbollah. They run those people, and they finance them. So that's the lay of the land right now. The regime is essentially the IRGC.
What do you think is going to happen next?
Neither side wants to start shooting. I really believe that. I think that we can't tell what's going to happen here. It's just impossible. It's such a complex situation, and the leaders are really very complex in their behavior. So uranium, as I said before, is at the top of everyone's mind. It's the top of the list right now, and so I could see a scenario where, first of all, the U.S. is the only country in the world that could get that uranium out of the ground. That's it could be the most complicated, complex special operations mission in the history of the world, probably, to take that out by ourselves. On the other hand, the IAEA does have some currency with the Iranians, and Iran is actually, Araghchi has said this. He said in negotiations that they would try to seek a third country, a neutral country, to take out some of the uranium. Now that uranium is enriched. They've got 972 pounds. I figured that out. I calculated from.
I can't even imagine how you figured that out.
Well, I know, but
don't tell us. Don't tell you how you figured
it. So your audience will know. I had to know. So your audience, they got almost a half a ton of 90% enriched uranium. 60% enriched uranium, and they could get to 90% very, very quickly. Uranium enrichment, 0 to 50, 60 takes quite a time. But to go from 60 to 90 could only take a month. I mean, it's very, very quick. So that would be nuclear fission material. And so anyway, it's buried in Isfahan, which we blew up right last year. So I could see a situation where the U.S. goes in there, and it would have to be with the approval, maybe not even the approval of Iran, but in cooperation with the IAEA, and take it out. and compromise, agree to some kind of compromise where they say we'll move, we'll leave you enough peaceful use uranium, 3% enriched for medical purposes, and the IAEA will go back in and keep their eye on them. But I could see some kind of cooperation happening in the future sometime. I don't know when. Of course, nobody knows when, but that's a possibility.
It is
the
a
last
possibility.
Thing I'll say it is possible. If you recall, 6 weeks ago, they rescued a downed airman who was hiding in the mountains. There was an incredible, rescue mission. What it took to take him out, and the two big planes that went in to get him couldn't take off. The sand blew their engines out, and they had to destroy the airplanes on the ground. They sent more planes in, and they got him out. So that's a precursor almost. It's a training exercise for going into that area to Isfahan and getting the uranium. So more will be revealed.
More will be revealed.
Yeah, if I can just sort of sum up here. Back in my Vietnam days, everyone carried a Zippo cigarette lighter, and engraved on the sides of those Zippo lighters was a little phrase out of one of Rudyard Kipling's poems. Kipling was an English author and poet, and it said, "And the end of the fight is a tombstone white, with the name of the late deceased, and the epitaph drear, a fool lies here who tried to hustle the East." We don't hustle the East. The East has its own clock, and patience is required here.
Edward Jones brings deep experience in international business development, military affairs, intelligence, and oil markets across the Middle East and beyond. And he's a ham radio operator. His call sign is W2LCQ. Walter M. Sterling, The Other Side of Midnight.